again.
You can always, Ronnie just has to read it and pass it.
Okay. I'd like to call the town council meeting, budget meeting to order. Let us stand and say our pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us pray. Father, again, we come seeking your guidance. It's a tough time, and we just need you to guide us, to help us to always do the right things for the citizens of Nashville. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
And amen. Okay, do we have a schedule? I know I'm late.
We have a tentative.
This one.
Good man.
Okay, the local business update. Randy, let's go.
Well, last week you guys had asked us if we could reach out to some of the business and the community and just see how they're faring in the wake of COVID hitting Nashville. So I took some time Friday and yesterday and made some calls and talked to some people. I wasn't able to make contact with everybody, but Express Floors, Adam Williams, he says he hasn't noticed any decrease in business. In fact, he's been turning away work because he doesn't have enough labor on hand to do it. He says the pandemic has actually increased his business. When you think about it, people are stuck at home looking at that old kitchen. It's time. So and they go to him. Anyway, I didn't hear back from LBJ Chevrolet. I was hoping to find out what their sales might have been here lately. Wayne Taylor at Exxon, he said other than a few days right after the stay-at-home order, business was really slow, but he says since then, it's been business as usual for him. Frank's home was similar. He said the first couple of weeks after the stay-home order, he accounts it to people trying to figure out and practice social distancing. Once they figured it out and kind of got familiar with it, then people started coming in, but he credits the COVID-19 as bringing in a more informed buyer when they come to see him because they're doing their research online.
And who is that, Randy?
That's Frank Brown at Frank's Homes. Brent Bass, I didn't hear back from him. The AutoZone, talked to the sales associate there. Same thing, business dropped off at first, but after a couple of weeks, it returned pretty much to normal. Weekly sales are back on target. Stores meeting its sales projections at this time. The ABC store called there. Sales are holding their own and increasing somewhat. Braswell Family Farms, Wells Cabinets called me back. He said their business is up significantly. He said they're delivering more eggs to stores than ever. So I don't know if that's as a result of meat being somewhat in short supply. People are making it up with eggs. He didn't know either, but Purdue Farms, I didn't hear back from them. Sheets, I called there and I was told only corporate could give sales reports out to people. So I didn't get any answer there. Didn't get any answer at Alco Electric either. SAE Enterprises, which is Al Colley, he told me no noticeable decrease in work or job excavation inquiries, and business is going strong for him. Southern Bank, I had a conversation with Amy Beasley at Southern Bank, and she said the bank is doing a lot of work with the payroll protection loans right now.
Yeah.
And that there's still new growth in construction and new business, which COVID-19 has not yet affected. The mortgage industry, she said, is just absolutely crazy. Anybody and everybody that is refinancing their house, it sounds like. But she said she does know firsthand that the restaurants and salons are really hurting, and some of the animal producers around, the hog producers, because of the packing plants being shut down, they're being forced to hang on to their hogs longer, which is costing more time to feed them, and they're outgrowing their facilities, physically outgrowing their facilities, which is a problem. But she does believe that the stimulus checks that people have received have really helped minimize the economic impact on our local area. Church Street Grill, I didn't get any answer from them. I believe they were busy in the morning when I called, and when I called in the afternoon, I think they'd gone for the day already. Bell's Hardware, they said their new store opened with a bang, but it slowed down for about a week after the governor's stay-at-home order. Store sales have been strong, and they had projections for the last 4 or 5 weeks, with many people being off work and working on things, improvements around their houses. Said sales were exceptionally strong when Clayton Homes was shut down for a few days. Atlantic Natural Foods, talked to Steve Morris out there. Business was expanding before COVID-19 and has not seen a reduction. The plant was closed for 3 days back in April for deep cleaning. But other than that, production and sales are remaining steady and increasing a little. Clayton Homes, Tim didn't really talk to me about COVID-19. He did let me know that he's going to be moving on back to Tennessee, and that there's going to be a new plant manager. I didn't get any answer from the Nashville diner again in the morning when I called. I think they were all busy taking orders, so I was busy, and then, James Strickland with Land Surveying. Business continues to thrive. It has not slowed down. They have more work than they get to. Staying very busy. And, I did not receive a return phone call from Sal's Pizza and Subs. And then Stuart Griffin at A.J. Leonard Company. Insurance, home policies are about the same, but auto policies, he says, are about the same, but new home policies are down. Mostly, he said, because they can't physically go out and do the inspections before they write the business. So overall, business is down somewhat from last year. Estimates it's about 10%.
How about like Jody's or the the painting teacher? How about these independent?
I'm sure they're hurting, Brenda.
I know they are really bad.
You know,
They've both been innovative and going
Right,
online
right.
and things like that, but you're right, people not coming into the store, it's got to change things.
you know, those storefronts on Main Street are the ones that are.
And I'm glad we're doing as well as it seems like we're doing, because everywhere else, like I'm sure you saw in the paper about the DOT doing furloughs now. And then Wake County, every town I've talked to with the people, they're keeping their budgets constant until they see exactly what comes in. So sounds like we're doing better than most. All right, water and sewer fee schedule update.
So I wanted to revisit this with you guys again, and let me pass this out quick. The front sheet on this are the current schedule of fees for water and sewer in our current budget book and what we're currently going by. And some of the changes I'm proposing here, just for clarification, anytime we have somebody come into town hall and they sign up for new services and they're asking questions, we don't have a uniform common lingo, even amongst the staff, much less the people coming in, about what things are. So myself and Sam and Lee, and I talked with Samantha and Yvette up front, try and get a more uniform terminology that has a more logical meaning to it. But like I said, the front sheet is where we're at right now. The 2 pages stapled behind it is what I would like to propose. Right now, on page 23A, the notes in the bottom there, the town's current water application fee is $35 and the sewer application fee is $10. And what I would like to do is combine them into a single utility application of $45. So there's no change in the amount. We're just calling them a utility application fee, and it's for water and sewer combined. Then the town's current water and sewer taps. If you go back to the first page, you can see the 3/4 inch water tap, then a water tap bigger than 3/4 inch, and a 4 inch sewer tap. Well, most people don't have any clue what a tap is. They're all, what's my connection? So what I'd like to propose there is that the current water and sewer taps be renamed to a water connection fee and a sewer connection fee. Easy to understand, I believe. And then the town's current utility and waste receptacle deposit, which there in this confusion, as soon as you say waste receptacle deposit, just simply rename that to a utility deposit. And then the other thing on this page 23A, I listed the water meter cost per size. Presently, we just say plus cost. Well, you know, we know, and these prices stay fairly constant for a year. I mean, they'll adjust every year as prices on the meters go up. But I would like to have, you know, in our fee schedule, in our list of fees, a 5/8 inch water main is $205. We also had on the old sheet a 3/4 inch meter. Well, truth be told, there is no 3/4 inch meter. It's either 5/8 inch or 1 inch. So getting rid of that confusion also, we would just simply go list a 5/8 inch meter, a 1 inch, a 1.5, a 2 inch, a 2 inch compound, a 4 inch, and a 6 inch. And those are the purchase prices through our vendor to get those at this time. Like I said, they change, they will change over time. If we lock them in, so to speak, for a year, we'll be good, and next year we'll take another look at them. Then if you flip the page and go to 24A, the next page, then you know, we've been talking about our current federal mandate, and nobody is really remember that far back to why it's called a federal mandate. But in essence, what it is a base fee. And that base fee is supposed to cover a lot of the fixed costs of providing water to people on our system. So the town's current federal mandate, rename that the water base fee and increase it from $6 a month to $7.87, which is a $1.87 increase. And we talked about that. The justification for that is this increase, it's based upon the results of the water sewer rate study that Sam did internally, and also the recommendations on the study we just received back from the North Carolina Rural Water Association. And again, the base fee in theory is supposed to cover a majority of your fixed costs associated with your water system or your sewer system. And a lot of towns have a base fee and then they have a charge per thousand. And I'd like to migrate toward that, begin with this anyway.
So Randy, technically this $6 mandate is tucked into that fee.
Yeah, we would just do away with calling it a mandate, and we call it a base fee, a water base fee. And we'd add $1.87 to it.
Add it.
So it'd go from $6 to $7.87. Continuing then, the town's current flat sewer fee is $13.91, and it includes the first 1,000 gallons of usage. The flat rate sewer fee, I would like to rename that and just call it sewer base fee. The proposed water base fee is $7.87, which we just talked about. And like the current federal mandate, it does not include any gallons. So you have one fee that includes some gallons and one that doesn't. To get consistency, what I'd like to propose to the council is we charge $5. We charge $5.74 for the first 1,000 gallons. So presently you get that $6 federal mandate, then you get a $5.74 charge, and that totals $13.61. What I would like to propose is that, like I said, do away with federal mandate. We call it a water base fee. We increase that by $1.87 and make that $7.87. And then we add the $5.74 for the first 1,000 gallons into that. And then we come up with a water-based fee of $13.61,
Which includes the first 1,000 gallons.
just like the sewer. So right now, you're paying for a sewer base fee of $13.91, includes the first 1,000 gallon. Your water base fee would be $13.61 and includes the first 1,000 gallons. So if you don't use over 1,000 gallons, all you'll pay for water is $13.61 a month, which is very similar to what we have right now. It's just $1.87 more.
The second
From a
1,000
billing
is
perspective, it makes no difference whether you include the first 1,000 gallons or not. Because once you use 1 gallon, you're going to be charged $5. So
$5.71, yeah.
it's just the way it's already set up. It's literally going to be no change.
So the person who uses fewer gallons gets penalized because the second 1,000 is $4.18.
That's the way it is presently, Louise.
It's no change.
So is this structure to assist with the obtaining of grants and things like that? Or does it not matter how we structure, whether it includes or doesn't include, just changing the rates?
Well, I think it just clarifies the terminology
Okay,
because really the way it's billed, it includes the first 1,000 gallons and it's going to be billed at $13.61. Because once they use 1 gallon, they're going to be charged for that on the bill.
okay.
I'm proposing it more to be able to easily explain it to the consumer,
Okay,
Just change.
just for
the
clarity.
semantics of it.
Okay,
more than anything else.
So in the 787, you don't get any water, you just get,
It's a base fee.
but with the sewer, you do, you get 1,000.
Yes, with that $13.91, you get 1,000 gallons of usage. So to make them level or even or congruent, the same thing, that's why I'm proposing adding that $5.71 in on that base fee. So you get the first 1,000 gallons and then we don't even talk about it. So, then continuing, the new water base fee by meter size are proposed per the Rural Water Association's recommendations and requested from apartment developers. We have 3 apartment developers talking with the town right now, and all of them want to install master meters. And presently, most apartment buildings have a gang of water meters out front in the front yard, and each unit is separately metered. These folks want to put in one large meter for their 3-story apartment building or their multiple unit apartment buildings and include the rent or include water and sewer in the rent. Now, the advantage to the town on that is collections. We're not going to struggle getting our money from the apartment management company or the apartment owner like we do sometimes with individual apartment renters. But we don't have a fee structure for that right now. So what we have proposed, Sam and I and Lee got together, and what we're looking at is based on your meter size for your apartment building or your house, that would determine what your monthly base fee is. Now, for 98% of the people in town, it's the 5/8 inch water meter, and the base fee will be that $13.61. If you have 1 inch or 1.5 inches or 2 inch or 2 inch compound meter, then your monthly base fee would be what you see here in the red. That corresponds with the various meter sizes. So say for instance, in town you had 1.5 inch meter, and instead of $13.61 a month, your base fee would be $16.24. And then it would be $4 and whatever odd cents it is per 1,000 gallons, $4.18 per 1,000 thereafter. And again, it would include the first 1,000 gallons.
Doing this generates about additional $5,000 more.
Total, system-wide. And it's not going to impact any at all, a majority of the people in town, because they're all at that 5/8 inch meter size.
And I had already rolled in the replacement cost of the 5/8 inch meter into the base fee. So the fees, for the larger sizes are just the difference between the cost of the larger meter and 5/8 inch.
So with the master meter, all the water goes obviously through the master meter, but the residents there, they would pay a fat fee, or would the apartment owner pay the fee?
The apartment owner pays the water sewer
The
bill.
apartment owner pays the fee, and he includes that with the residents' rent. So we got to collect just from one person rather than from 54 people,
Or 86.
or however many is out there. Okay.
So, you know, again, what we're proposing here, it's going to be much easier for the staff up front to explain when somebody comes in and signs up for service, using terminology here that I think is more universal, obviously, than what we have right now. People don't have a clue what a tapping fee or don't even care. Just, all right, what's it going to cost me?
I was looking at this spreadsheet. So the increased cost with the sanitation and everything, it's going to be 741, or is it going to be 750?
Oh, because the 35 cents.
$7.50. We have since added that 9 cents.
Okay, so this is wrong. I mean, we need another
It's
spreadsheet
definitely outdated.
updated.
Since we created that spreadsheet, we became aware of
Could we get another one so that, you know? So there was 9, I don't really know. Thank you. Slinging that.
Which one is it?
In other words, this is what it used to be, and 9 cents was added, so it's 750.
Yes.
It will
And that
definitely
is-
be added to the new fee schedule. Yeah.
Okay, Mayor, next up on the agenda.
Is the budget line item updates from Sam.
So you'll see here. Another packet for you. Went back through, since April, when we presented the budget, we become aware of several changes. So certain updates. So I went through, updated, made as many updates as possible. I have included those updates in here. Everything that's been updated has been highlighted for you, and notes are added there to the side. That's why you got a larger sheet here.
Do we have study hall so we can study this?
So I'll go over the major ones for you right now. Okay. So first of all, of course, the financial software, I was able to negotiate that to spread that cost out over 3 years. So that's gone down significantly. So I was able to reduce that number in the budget.
Which one was told to you? Which one was that?
We
now?
started, can we start at the front and get to the back?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first on page 1, you'll see that I added a line item called alcoholic beverage tax, alcoholic beverage excise tax. So in years past, that was mistakenly labeled as beer and wine tax. We don't currently receive beer and wine tax, but we do receive alcoholic beverage excise tax. And so that's been added back. So that's a positive. We get to add 22,000 back to the budget. Next page.
Excuse me, Sam, I have a question. Okay, the very last item, sales and use tax distribution. I noticed in 1920, it was $1,210,000,
That's what was budgeted.
and we got it up 20,000. Do we really think sales and use tax is going to be up 20,000?
Estimated, my estimate, so that was what was budgeted. It was budgeted at 1210, but we're estimating that it's gonna actually be 1250. So based on our estimate, it's actually gonna be down by 20,000.
But from last year,
Right, so the last year's estimate was the 1.2.
Right.
But last year's amended was 1.2, but what she thinks is actually coming in for this current year is 1.2. 1,250,000.
right,
So then projected for next year is 20,000 less than what we are going to get this year. So you're wondering about the 1,250,000 for the remainder of the year?
I'm looking at the recommended.
Right, so it is down from what we actually are going to have received.
We think.
Right,
So the largest dip, this is from the League of Municipalities report, came out, that's how I projected my revenues. Our largest dip is gonna be this fiscal year in this last quarter. So that's gonna affect this fiscal year. Next fiscal year, of course, you know, there's still a lot of uncertainty, as I've been saying. You know, in the first quarter, you're still gonna have a dip. And then hopefully, you know, if we don't have another occurrence, COVID-19, you know, we may start to tick back up. Okay, and so overall, I think at the time, the League of Municipalities was saying overall decrease of about 20%. Can't quite recall, but it was not 20% overall for the whole year. The 20% decrease is actually this fiscal year in this last quarter, and then, you know, in the first quarter of next fiscal year.
How are we going as far as projected to date, excluding the last quarter of the year? Are we up to date on what we was expecting to come in, or
We had been
already
ahead.
we have been ahead?
Yeah, and then, you know, so time will tell as far as what this last quarter. So we have been ahead.
So if we were ahead, the 20,000 may be an incorrect number, because we don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
that's,
that- It's a lot of
right.
uncertainty with that,
Right,
one, for
okay.
sure.
How far are we ahead?
I don't recall, but I can look that up.
Okay, no, it's good. But we are ahead.
But I guess the bottom line is that is a big if.
It is.
Yeah.
For sure. On page 2, we are going to be assisting the pharmaceutical company with a building reuse grant. That's going to be a pass-through grant. So we're going to take receipt of the funds, and then we're going to pass those funds on to the builder. So you'll see that $250,000 has been increased, but it's also an expenditure elsewhere. Okay.
excuse me, Sam, could we go back to sales tax just for a minute? I'm looking at your year-to-date budget report as of the end of April. And at that point, it was saying that for sales and use tax distribution, $1,060,745. So was that 10 months of sales tax, 9 months?
I
11?
don't recall. I'd have to look back at it.
I mean, assuming that it would be 10, if that's a possibility, then we could expect probably another 180,000 over that potentially.
We have just received February's. So I don't think by that report, I had even reported February's.
Okay.
So I think we've got February's, March, April, May, and June.
I mean, if that's true, then we will be considerably ahead. I would see. Okay, I just needed that.
Okay, so still on page 2, since I had presented the budget to you, we became aware that our new fire truck that we purchased needed some air packs. They're quite expensive. And so what we had done is requested our fund balance from Nash County to purchase the air packs. So I just added the fund balance into the air pack.
And that's from Nash County?
Yes, ma'am. You see, I added the 9 cents for the recycling. Of course, that's going to be an expenditure elsewhere. You see on page 3, vehicle loan proceeds, we have decreased that. We went back and looked at the police vehicles. The chief and I sat down and we were able to kind of get that estimate down a little bit lower. Just kind of nailing down a better price. So that, I think we had 165, we've got 150 now in that line. So that means we're able to reduce the amount. But we are going to discuss some loan options here in just a minute. Okay, so since I presented the budget, we received some more clear figures of how much our health insurance is going to cost per employee next fiscal year. I had budgeted at $7,200, but it came in at about $7,100 per employee and $7,150 per department head. So I went back through everybody's budget and just reduced the cost of that by $100 per employee and $50 per department. So you'll see all the health insurance numbers have changed. Same with our retirement. By the time I had presented the budget, the figures hadn't come out. But since then, the figures have come out. I had budgeted at 10.4, came in at 10.22, so that's good. That was a reduction, so I was able to get that figure down. However, workers' comp Since then, I did receive my invoice, and that increased by $5,000 over last year. So I had to go back and add that. So you'll see that. So that's all for manager, HR. Okay, you'll see it, software and data support. I'm looking at finance and tax now. Through several of the budgets, I reduced the amount of travel allocation. To me, that just makes sense. Everybody's traveling right now, and especially for my department, other departments. School government's offering lots of webinars right now. I think I'm taking advantage of those rather than having to travel. You see in my budget, huge reduction in the software cost.
Is that down from the 100 that you had projected?
It's
It actually-
split up into
Split.
3
It
years.
It's a reduction in my budget, HR's budget, planning's budget, fleet, and water and sewer. So it's a huge overall.
But originally in your budget, it was 100,000.
That's right, but that included current, and this fee also still includes costs of my current software.
At 64,000.
So I've got annual maintenance fees that I still have to pay. But of course, next year that will be not be an issue.
So what is the number for next year?
It would be the 64,000.
Minus.
I believe it's about 36,000 that I have to pay. And like Lynn was saying, we can maybe negotiate to get that. I'm hoping that it just depends on when I can get all the software up and running. How much I can really get. Public buildings. Looking at public buildings right now, I had to add some utility costs for recreation, the lease on Valley Street. I believe I just added $1,000 per month there. Since presenting the budget, working with our new IT vendor, looking ahead, we became aware that our servers are not currently being backed up. So we are currently engaged in a project trying to make sure our servers are up to date and our information is being backed up properly. And so to do that, it's an annual cost. It's actually $13,800.
Actually, what?
$13,800 to back up the servers.
So this number was
It was 5,000,
5,000, okay.
so that has increased by 13,000. And that's going to be an annual cost.
So everything we
It
saved,
will be annual, an annual.
for everything we saved prior to, we just lost it in this.
Well,
Amen.
okay, so the police budget, we've made several significant changes here. We went back through the salary study. There were some amendments to the salary study that actually caused a reduction in their salary costs. Of course, all the other health insurance and retirement costs, those we were able to get that down. Looking at gas prices right now, and just going back and looking at our current year projections, I had it originally budgeted at 65. I don't think we're going to even use 65 this year. Probably won't even might not even use the 55 that I've got estimated. So I've just reduced the estimate to 55,000. Of course, we don't know what gas prices are going to do.
Well,
They're really low right now.
but they're getting ready to go right back up because the demand has gone down considerably. And so when demand goes down, cost is going to go up. So it's rising now.
Plain clothing allowance, it was originally budgeted at three individuals. Now it's 2, so I was able to put 500 there. Workers' comp increased. And once again, like I said, we went back and looked at the vehicles, and we were able to just put a cap on the vehicle purchase to 150. In the fire budget, some of the salary, based on the salary study, we had some amendments to the salary study. Health insurance, retirement. Workers' comp. And you see right there, I've added the 42,000, and that's where I've added the air packs. I've also eliminated all so we'll get to it here in just a minute, but I suggested that I move all transfers and all debt service into its own separate department. Maybe make it a little bit easier to follow. So I've done that. So there was a transfer. I had $100,000 from the fire station. Into a different department. In fleet, we reduced the travel there, 2,000, I believe, just cut that down to 1,000. And software, once again, the new software does include a fleet management component. And so we're able to get that cost down. Streets, looks like it's just salary, health insurance, and retirement there. And workers' comp. Sanitation, I think there was a amendment for the salary study. Health insurance, retirement. Okay, and you see there, I've increased the cost. These are the increased cost of recycling. Okay, and see here, I've also I've eliminated the $35,000 for yard waste site. And that was part of, that was one of those capital items. And that has been gone. Done with.
So we're not cleaning up the site?
We are. But some of the site improvements were, it was like covered storage, covered sheds.
If we continue to use the property.
Stormwater travel has been reduced. Vehicle maintenance has been eliminated. I believe all of that has been budgeted in equipment maintenance. So I don't think we need that. Capital reserve, basically, I had to change that number because the budget, I believe, decreased. So I have to increase my capital reserve. We charge a fee for stormwater. And by the statute, the fee that you charge has to be allocated to stormwater. So any of that revenue that we're not using this year, we have to put it away. So that's why that number has increased. Recreation, once again, health insurance, retirement. I was able to decrease the budgeted amount for the lease because the lease came in way lower than the original budget, which is a good thing. Workers' comp. Library, it looks like it was just health insurance, retirement, and workers' comp there. Cemetery. Go back and just discussing how we handle our personnel matters. Determined that certain departments receive on-call pay. However, cemetery, those guys are on call. One of them is on call every weekend to handle those calls. But they had never been receiving on-call pay. So we added a little bit in the budget to pay them for being on call. Health insurance, retirement. Okay. Lot buybacks and perpetual care. I think I just had the 5,000 here. Non-departmental, I added back the Caroline Gateways, $10,000. That's in the general fund as well as the fund. Now, you'll see with all the cuts, other than having to appropriate fund balance at this point, we're actually adding to our savings by $12,000. So you'll see there contribution to fund balance. No fund balance appropriation. Back to looking at $12,000 savings. Now I did, for the suggestion, a good suggestion, I created two new departments. One's called transfers and pass-throughs. Now pass-through is basically we receive the revenue, we pay the revenue out. All of those are now in their own separate department. As you see, we put about $500,000 in transfer and pass-through. And debt service is now its own department. It's $138,000. Subject to change for what we discussed today.
Sam, I have a question about non-departmental. That, the line that has, lease,
Piece. The copier,
okay,
that town hall copier,
okay, so that's it.
and it was briefly mentioned, and it's in my budget details. I'm proposing to lease a piece of equipment that holds stuffs, seals, and stamps.
Is that the Pitney Bowes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is that in this budget?
Yes. And it's in this non-departmental because I propose that all departments can use it. So I highlighted the capital reserve, general capital reserve expenses. We need to revisit that based on what we decide to do with the debt service. Okay. You see enterprise fund revenues, I've added $5,000 there. I'm gonna implement these incremental base fees, due to the meter sizes. You get to add that $5,000. You'll see in water and sewer, non-departmental, I've added the $10,000 back. for Carolina Gateway. Water and sewer admin, looks like it's just health insurance, retirement, workers' comp. And I was able to reduce my software costs. Water operations, looks like it's salaries, fringes there. Workers' comp. Once again, in sewer, salaries, fringes, workers' comp. And then just like I did in the general fund, I created two new departments for transfers and pass-throughs and for debt service. So those have been eliminated from the general line items.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so that's all of our updates. I feel like that was good news. I have provided for you, I believe it's on your table. Maybe not. Based on the new information, based on your new amounts of fund balance, I would like to revisit our debt service vehicles. I was able to reach out to the banks. I don't have a list of that for you here. I didn't want to jeopardize anybody's bank business right now. But I was quoted anywhere between 2% and 3.2% for an interest rate. I've left it in the budget at 3.25 because we just don't know what rates are going to do. And just, I don't feel comfortable cutting that number.
Oh, yeah, that says around. Sure.
I've got four good options for you. First option is the option that's in the budget currently, it's finance all. In other words, we're gonna finance the garbage truck and all the vehicles. The loan, the initial loan amount is gonna be $635,000. Our principal and interest, $119,000 and $19,000. That's what's currently in the budget as our debt service payment for the year. With that, our current fund balance appropriation, we're actually adding to our fund balance by $12,000. And our capital reserve fund balance is going to be $728,000. That's what we have in our capital reserve fund. Another option is you could finance the garbage truck only. Did that, and your loan amount is going to be $380,000. That reduces your principal and interest payment. But then you have to add some fund balance to that to make up the difference. Which means your total fund balance appropriation at that point will be $186,000. And still your capital reserve fund balance is still going to be $728,000. Another option is you could just use fund balance to purchase all the vehicles. You'll have no loan proceeds, but you'll also have no debt payment. You'll have to appropriate an additional $497,000. So your fund balance appropriation will be $484. Your capital reserve ending fund balance will be $728. Fourth option is an option I like a lot. You could use some more of your capital reserves. So I propose we use capital reserves of $380,000 for the garbage truck. In my current budget, I've just used capital reserves just to cover the debt payment. Just increase that to cover the cost of the garbage truck. And then you use fund balance to cover the rest of the purchase. So you'll have to appropriate 117 additional fund balance. That means your total fund balance ending appropriation will be 104,000. And then your capital reserve ending fund balance will be 490,000. You have no debt service payment and no loan.
Any comments? Go ahead.
Based on our earlier discussion about grant possibilities, Sam, I thought we were sort of with the understanding that we needed some debt in order to help us in the future pursuing particularly some large dollar utility type grants. So it concerns me a little bit for us to go away from debt entirely for that reason. I mean, that is just one of the criteria in getting a grant. Is that right?
True. That's true, and I'll, we'll go up and propose to finance everything. You're adding to your fund balance and you're holding on to your capital. So, to me, that's a consideration. We don't know.
By financing everything, meaning the trucks as well as the garbage truck.
That's right. I'm trying to hold on to cash because our cash flow. I'm concerned about that. So that's why I was proposing with financing. That's what's in the budget. But here are 4 options.
You could finance it all, see how it goes, and then all we can pay it back early.
Good.
There would be no penalty.
We could write that in.
It concerns me too with the obtaining of grants, because you said we can't even apply for certain grants because of,
You can apply, but
but
you
we're
just
not gonna
don't,
get it.
yeah, you're not competitive.
So I guess the rationale is they think you don't need it.
Right,
Right.
you're doing just fine, you don't
So
need
if you're in
this.
trouble, you get the,
Right,
Not too much trouble.
right, a
If you're in
reasonable
too
amount
much
of trouble.
They won't fund you either.
hence what's coming down the pipe from Congress.
But
I think-
again, for me and talking with some other municipality people, they say the key is not all that much debt. It's having a qualified grant writer that knows how to use the right words to get it. That you don't have to pile up debt. It might be nice to have some,
Yes.
but
Right.
don't go
No,
piling
we obviously
yourself
don't
up.
want to go.
Because we've got to look at how much interest we're going to pay.
I think too, what the grant writers are looking for is that the municipality is making an investment. And when the debt goes,
Speak louder.
sure, when the debt is put in place, then that helps to show that we are willing to make some level of investment ourselves. We could
And
take
I
it for
can
fund
see that for the
balance.
big ones.
Yeah, for fund balance, that if you use your fund balance, they're like, fine, but you're not showing us that you're willing to take some element of risk in order to keep your system maintained.
Larry, any thoughts on the 4 options?
I'm still in favor of having a little debt to help us out as far as grant writing is concerned going down the pipe. A little debt, not a whole lot. And then go ahead and go ahead and pay out the smaller items. That's my stance.
In the past, we have financed large vehicles like the sewer jet vac and fire trucks in the past,
Buildings and stuff like that.
but we've never financed police cars and, vehicles like the fire department ones, the smaller.
So going forward, what's your thoughts on that, Louise?
Financing the garbage.
this
Yeah,
year.
finance the large vehicles. Now, the 380 for the fire truck, the garbage truck, we had offset money for that that had been put aside.
It was 183,000. But what, it's not enough to cover the garbage truck. Of course, we can reallocate. And that's what I've done in the last option there. I reallocated all the funds.
But that's why we put that money aside to be able to pay down.
In fact, if we did finance the garbage truck only, I probably would at the current, the way it's currently budgeted. I've only allocated funds to cover the debt service. Probably what I'll do is I'll allocate some capital reserve funds to cover all of the vehicles. So your total fund balance appropriation probably a little bit less than this, the 186. But your capital reserve ending fund balance
Will be lower. Okay.
Say that one more time. I'm trying to understand.
So the way I've got this budgeted,
Right,
the capital reserves, I'm only using capital reserves to fund the debt service payment,
right.
which is 148,000, I believe. But what I'd probably do if council, what I'm hearing is council wants to finance the garbage truck. but
Yes.
Purchase the vehicles outright. I think that's a great decision. What I will do is reallocate the capital reserve funds to cover all of the vehicles, not just the debt service payment. So what you see here, it will actually end up being less fund balance appropriated, we'll have to use less fund balance out of the general fund because we're using more of our capital reserve funds.
Gotcha. Thank
Brandon,
you.
has there been any progress on the paving piece of equipment that we had that now nobody wants to hang on to? Has there been any progress on trying to get rid of that?
Selling that.
We
Selling
haven't, no, we have the next surplus. We'll put it on there. That'll be coming up here, when that's up? In June.
And we can rest assured, we can probably get what about, how much for that truck?
We can put a reserve on it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to give it away, I don't want to
Yeah.
give it away to
Part with
anybody.
it Unless you get what you want for it.
Yeah,
obviously.
get what you want for it, put a bare minimum on it.
What truck are you talking
The
about?
one that paving truck
Paving
where you
truck.
take all the asphalt and
Oh, the
recycle it,
recycling
and put it
machine.
back in. That
Yeah,
was a great thing to start with. Now nobody wants it.
asphalt recycling machine.
That's it, that one.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about the truck.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
It's,
But yes, I think if we move forward on that, that would be more money coming back into Carver, because we pay cash for that truck, for that piece of equipment.
Did you guys see the note I sent around about the garbage truck bids?
No,
yeah.
what was it?
The guys got, they're working with 3 different vendors to get bids on the new garbage truck. And it looks like the 380,000 that we're talking about for a purchase price will cover that.
We'll cover.
Get one of those.
I
There
didn't
was
get one.
one sheet that was
Yeah,
passed.
I think
I
it's
just went on.
up there with Brenda somewhere.
Oh.
How much was it?
Well, we don't know. We don't have them yet, but Lee and Thurman and the guys talking with the 3 vendors on what they want in this garbage truck. The vendors have all told them what you're talking about for 380,000. That's not with the optional arm. We're still asking for a price on that option, and then we'll have to discuss that if you want to purchase the garbage truck with the automated arm, which then you only need 1 person to pick up garbage. But everybody's got to put their garbage can at the right place at the curb,
Turn
in
turn
order
around
for
the
you to
right
get it.
way and everything.
and they can only go, they'll have to go both directions on the street. Right now, they just go down, grab from both sides, empty, and go on. So the route could actually take a little longer to run with the automated arm. Pros and cons. So you good then on financing the garbage truck, and then we'll buy the rest with cash? Okay.
Okay, so the next thing on my list to discuss were major increases. IT, I was asked last time to provide a list of all of our IT software requests. I've got that for you. And just go through our major funding requests, just to make sure that everybody's in agreement with
We
those.
don't have that.
Do we have a sheet for
Is there a
that?
handout for that?
Yes, I've got one. That's our major IT request, software. Now, what you see here, I've got, some of these cells highlighted, and that's for the town server. We're currently working on a project. Our servers are severely outdated. We were working on upgrading those servers, hoping to get that project completed this fiscal year. That would be no cost for next fiscal year. However, if we can't get that done this fiscal year, some of that's gonna probably roll over to next fiscal year, and it's gonna be an added cost. Just letting you be aware of that, the status of that project.
What's the bottom line cost for all this thing?
Should have added it up for you.
Would have helped.
While she's looking for that, let me ask you this, please, Randy. I remember the lady in charge of planning was telling us all this stuff she had to do, and it was gonna cost a lot of money. Is that included in here?
You mean for like Muni code and all
Yeah,
of
all
that?
that.
So
Recodification.
that's a separate project, and it's in the planning budget. The total cost of that project is $150,000.
That was-
That's what,
That was for the comprehensive plan, the
Right.
150.
That's right.
But that's in
And
their,
we've got
that's in their
classification
budget.
in there. So
That's
some of that we
separate.
paid for this fiscal year. So we'll just be completing the project next.
Now, were both of those broken up into multi-year payments?
So codification this fiscal year and what we're proposing, comprehensive plan, what we're proposing, and then the following fiscal year also. 75 in the budget you're going over now, and 75,000 in the budget thereafter.
And the codification was at, what, 25?
It was lower.
15,
Yeah.
15,000 for the
We
codification.
thought it was.
And
We
that
paid
was
5,000
total.
this year. We've got another about 10,000.
So you'll see 10,000 in this budget for codification. Paid 5 now.
thank you, Randy.
Any questions on any of these software requests? We've already
Did you
touched on
find the
this.
total?
Well, you still don't have a
I
total.
haven't, I'm
Okay.
sorry. I haven't
You don't have a total.
looked at it. About 95,000 purchase. Annual cost, about 130,000.
Total.
That's the total for this, 130,000.
Annual
As you can
cost.
see, a lot of these are existing,
Annual cost is 130.
existing things. I'm not asking any new purchases.
Okay, Sam, once again, you said 95,000 purchase price
Correct,
and 130 for,
annual maintenance.
okay.
So the 130,000 will be ongoing.
That's right.
And that's built into the numbers that you have.
And
here.
these, some of these things like Zerker, these are things that we've already discussed, signed on for. And for necessity.
Yeah, the Zerker and the pin link are things that the council approved just, several months back for the police department.
That was 70,000, Zerker.
Yes.
Right.
Right, it just has the annual cost built in there, the 27,000.
So Tessa's just telling me, so if you look on the third one, the digital records. I've got 4477 purchase and 4477 annual. She's saying actually it's not going to be 4477 annual.
Okay, so it's just the purchase price? Okay.
And that's on,
Digital records,
records.
number, third one from the top.
thank you.
So it's gonna be less than that?
Yes.
That's already included.
So Sam, once again, digital records, the purchase price is 4477.
Where I put 4477 as annual cost, that's.
You
Just
just
a one-time
eliminate that.
cost.
Yes.
4477 total cost.
That reduces your total cost about Any questions on software? Questions?
think I understand it.
What I'd like to do is look back once again at our capital outlay and other major funded items. These are our big ticket items that we've included in the budget. In our budget book under capital improvement / capital reserves on page 276. I'd just like to basically just go down this list and see what the consensus is on each of these items, because these are our big ticket items. Of course, our salary study, we already decided the last time. Seems like we got some consensus that that's going to stay in the budget, and that's going to be an annual cost. VC3 IT service, that's the cost.
And that's a
It
necessity.
is what it is, and we can expect that the cost of that to increase by 3% year by year. However, there's a $20,000 setup fee that we're gonna have to pay this fiscal year. We won't have to pay that.
Did we ever request bids to see if there were any other outfits out there?
We did.
You know, we did, Kate, and, you know, we got no takers on it.
Okay.
You know, I even called them and followed up with the ones I sent to you.
Well, I was very happy
Plate's
with
full.
the presentation of what we had gotten. I just wanted to make sure that that was the general price.
The website upgrade, so it's gonna be 18,000 this year, and it's gonna be another 18,000 next year, right? So you'll see that again next fiscal year. Social media retention software, the agenda management software, both of those are new software.
Those are not on this list.
They are.
They are.
They are.
One-time cost?
No,
Oh,
the social media is an annual.
okay.
Comprehensive plan, we have to do it. It's gonna be 75 this year. Another 75, you'll see it again next fiscal year. Financial software, I've got it at 100,000. That's actually the purchase price. The purchase price is actually 96,000.
Mhm.
Well, it's actually 46,000 with a 40, it's basically 46,000, but it's also got an annual component. So it equals 96,000. The total setup fee is 96,000. But I'm able to spread the cost out over 3 years at $58,000 per year for 3 years. And then the cost is reduced just to the annual maintenance fee,
And what's the annual maintenance fee?
46,000.
And what's you said 35 was our current annual maintenance fee?
It's about 36,000.
So 58,000 for 3 years.
And then it reduces down to 46,000. Public buildings, town hall, lobby, the front counter upgrade, that does include plexiglass as well as cameras.
I have a question. We redid the flooring, and we never got any costs on that or anything. What was the cost of that? And also the front desk had been abused, and we had to fix that.
Yeah, the
And then-
repair that front, I believe it was $180.
For the flooring, that was,
And then the flooring was like 13 something, wasn't it?
I did a budget amendment for it. I don't quite remember how much it was.
Now, this town and lobby front office plexiglass, that's what we got up there now is not what we're talking about, right?
No, we got a sneeze guard up there. right
Okay,
now.
all right. I want to
So
make
you're
sure.
gonna have full plexi down.
That's what we'd like to do to give, you know,
Professional to put up.
because when the gals are at the end of
Not
the day
having
back
insurance.
there behind the counter, counting the money and you got people coming in,
Right.
it could be very tempting. And just to have some physical barrier that you can't get through
Mhm.
would be nice.
Like it is at the police department.
Yeah.
Public Works, Office and Grounds. he wanted to build an office inside the Public Works building. Just guys are really cramped in there and nobody has a place to sit.
I may have misunderstood, but I was thinking that Lee wanted another building for another person that he wanted to hire to take care of certain things.
Right.
Now,
As it is, they're pretty cramped.
if we're not hiring that person, do we need that building in this year's budget?
Well, the building, he was looking at having another outbuilding there so that those street sweepings, we can stockpile those till we get enough to take to the transfer station, and they need to be on the roof. The lean-tos that we have out there now, Larry, where we put a lot of things under, it's not big enough. There's not enough head height to get the loader under there.
We're talking sheds then, we're talking sheds and not a full-sided building.
What you're talking about, though, is to make the office out of the existing building for the potential of next year's compliance.
So we're gonna put
Employee.
That's in here.
It was just a matter of framing something up.
framing something up out in the shop that we've got
Yeah,
now.
the thought was we'd frame an office area up or a paperwork area for
Okay,
Kevin out in the shop, and then where he comes in right now, that would be where the compliance officer would go.
So
Okay.
it would be utilized this year.
It could be if we end up, we don't have it in the budget to get the compliance officer this year, but it's not going to cost a whole lot of money to frame something up out in the office, or I'm sorry, out in the shop.
in the
area
shop area.
For Kevin to have a place where he can close the door and work on his bookwork and paperwork.
So this 35 includes both of those, the building and the office
It does.
being framed.
And I added money in there also. This was my request. I had some money in here for cameras over there to monitor the inventory area.
Okay.
Got a lot of inventory, a lot of equipment. Cameras would be
So that's included in the 35,000.
in the 35,000.
Okay.
I put 10,000 in there, but I don't think it's gonna cost 10,000, but I just put enough in there to make sure that we get
Okay.
something.
So have we had property stolen from the need for cameras?
Well, not that I'm aware of, but it's the way that how like secluded it is. I mean, it's a risk. And so I would like to have cameras there. I think probably our auditors would agree.
I mean, most of the stuff we have in inventory is such specialized stuff. You can use it for anything else but fixing a water break. If you got a 6-inch water line in your house, you're not going to be able to use that repair sleeve. But again, like Sam said, we have money tied up in there, and it would be nice to.
And you have
Right.
tools,
We
Well,
have tools.
I think a camera system is probably, will pay for itself with one particular incident. Case in point, my church, I've been advocating all the time, we need to put cameras up at the church. They didn't want to spend the money. Well, last month or so ago, all the catalytic converters got cut out from under the buses and the vans and everything else. Then they said, well, we should have had cameras. I said, yeah, that's what I've been telling you. So it's better to pay it ahead of time.
Yeah, I
The
agree.
cost would pay for itself.
I agree. And just on a side note, I was able to meet our new auditor.
Okay.
I think it's gonna work out well. She's gonna be a stickler on inventory. She's gonna want everything tagged and accounted for. It's just something that we're not quite up to par with right now. And so this is just one of those pieces to that. All of that equipment out there needs to be tracked and managed.
Everything needs
So
an
that's where
item
we're gonna
number.
go. That's what we're gonna get to.
but at least you gave her expectations.
She knows what
so
she's
you
gonna be
won't
looking for.
So you won't be blindsided.
I'd be surprised.
Library generator, it's gonna cost about $12,000 just to relocate that generator. That has been it's been on the to-do list for several years. So if we would just go ahead and get that done.
It's gonna be how much? It's
About
$22,000,
$12,000, $17,000?
got $22,000 here.
Now, that includes moving,
On and over.
when you said relocate, that includes moving and hooking it up, right?
That's right. I think it was 17,000.
Yeah, transfer switch, concrete pad, set it on, moving it from.
Moving it from there
back
back.
here.
Okay.
Okay, so it's 17,000 for that?
And then about 5,000 for the awning
Okay.
and just general beautification up front over here.
Okay.
Police vehicles, I've got it at 165 here, but we reduced that down to 150.
How
As
we,
well as 6 portable radios and 6 mobile radios.
how do we reduce that down to?
Well, we just looked at
150.
we looked at the vehicles that we were requesting to buy. I think he had a F-250 in there, an F-150 and a Dodge. The Dodge was the lesser of the three. We had all three, one of each in there. The Dodge was the lesser of the three. If you go with the lesser of the three, it comes out to actually be about 145. A little bit of wiggle room in there just in case price, you don't know what prices are going to do.
So we're gonna get all three Dodges?
I thought they weren't making those.
Well, the
No,
Dodge Charger.
the cars they're not
The
making.
Dodge truck.
The trucks
And
they
you're talking
are.
about the trucks
Trucks
instead
they
of
are.
the cars.
Okay.
Firefighter, so you should expect to see mobile radios and portable radios in every budget request. We've got to keep, stay on top of replacing those items. They really they're kind of expensive and they catch up with you if you don't replace them. Same with vehicles, you should expect to see replacement vehicles in every budget. We've got a severely aging fleet. We've got to get on top of it. Over half of our fleet is over 10 years old. So we've got to make sure every year that we're replacing vehicles. In the fire's budget, we've got 3 new firefighters. It's not really capital item, but it's a large purchase price. So
Now that one, Chris has put in for the grant.
Yes.
When do we find out? about
June
that?
said,
June 15th, I think so.
once again, 2 replacement vehicles and 7 radios. 100,000 for the fire station. To start that project. That's to get engineering, architecture, and land going. We've just budgeted 100,000 at this time. Sanitation, we've got the garbage truck in there for 380, but we've eliminated the yard waste site treatments. 35,000 is gone.
Okay.
Water operations, he's requested a 16-foot enclosed trailer. And sewer, so we've already begun the DOC lift station rehab project. We allocated 25,000 this fiscal year. So to complete that project, it's gonna be another 75,000. And then last, the quick response sewer jet, 62,000. We had capital reserves for that. So we're not gonna finance that. I'm not recommending financing that or anything. We're just using water and sewer capital reserves to purchase that.
I have a question about the DOC lift station. I thought we were going to look at gravity flow.
We are, Louise, but, even if it does work to gravity flow, by the time we do the engineering and submit for the NCDEQ permits, we're gonna be 2.5 years into it. And that lift station isn't gonna get us 2.5 years in its present condition. We have to rehab it now.
And that's a long way out there to look at gravity flow, bring it all the way from the prison back into the main system here. That's a long way.
I don't know if we'll be able to eliminate that one. Like Mayor Street had told me, he was told for years, Elm Street went gravity flow. And then, the town was insistent, had the elevation survey completed, and yes, it would, and it did, and it has. And eliminating that Elm Street lift station project has saved this town tons of money.
Yeah.
And we already have 25 into the DOC.
Yes,
Okay. So the total is 100.
that's what we're projecting, yes.
Randy, going back to the garbage truck thing, the 380 for the garbage truck. If we choose, another thing we need to consider, if we choose to go with the one person,
Yeah.
we will save on a person. But then again, you got to factor in the cost of going by buying how many more garbage receptacles that will match up to it, because it won't take the little short ones.
Right.
So then that's another cost we got to factor in if we choose to go that way.
Correct.
Any other comments about the items that we've requested in our budget?
The yard waste site improvements, we're just not going to do anything about that?
Well, that was kind of the consensus I heard at the last meeting. While we have the yard waste on the truck, we're just going to take it out to Alcali's and pay the per load fee and be done with it.
Because that was the most cost effective.
But I thought we had to clean up that
We
site.
do,
It
it's going to
is.
stay clean.
It's been,
So we're not going to perpetually be doing yard waste improvements, separating sheds, things like that.
So how much did it cost us to clean it up?
75.
Okay, 75 was.
The only thing left down there is seeding. And I hope they got that done yesterday, so this rain is making it.
and over by the cemetery, we're gonna simply reseed that also.
Yeah, that was supposed to be reseeded too.
Okay.
Is the inspector gonna come back and inspect it again?
Oh,
She
yeah.
will once they're able to travel again. They, state employees were ordered not to go out and about and till this pandemic thing's over. She will be back.
You know she will return.
So I did want to just bring your attention to the third page here. These are the items that we did not fund. I just wanted to bring your attention to them in case you wanted to, you're along the priorities. The first thing we did not fund was the 2% COLA. And my suggestion is that we come back to this item in about December or January and revisit this.
By that point, we'll have a very good idea of how we were affected by this and to
Right.
see what our funds would look like. I think that's a good recommendation.
You know, we don't want to be back in the same situation where we do another salary study and we're way behind and it's such a huge sticker shock. Not only that, but you know, we're looking at what, $65,000 here. And that is a huge, it's a small price to pay for a lot of employee morale,
Morale, goodwill,
retention issues.
We also have to keep in mind that there are a lot of people who are losing their jobs.
That's right. Police, we did not fund, we pretty much kept staffing at a level. We only funded the firefighters, so we did not fund the investigator or the community supervisor position that was requested. They did apply for a grant though. So if they receive a grant, I recommend that we add that back. We would be at I believe it's a 25% match.
It'd be 25% cost this year, and then it goes up 2 years after that.
It'd also be an additional 2 vehicles associated with those positions. You're adding two staff, so you'll need two more vehicles.
Now, did he put in a grant for the 2 or 1?
Was it 2 or 1?
2, I believe.
2.
My phone goes up.
So the grant only covers the employee cost. The vehicles would be straight from
That's
the
right.
town budget.
And it's not 100% of the employee.
Right.
Stormwater, Lee was requesting an environmental compliance officer. You know, we've got a lot of compliance issues. Somebody just to manage that role. Sewer operations, Cottonwood and Cypress lift station abandonment. Luckily, we were able to get a grant for that, right? DOT using it.
No, that was the Eastern Avenue sewer extension. This,
This is a large amount of money for a lift
You know,
station abandonment.
I asked Stocks Engineering to give us an estimate or a probable cost, and this is what they came up with. I don't see when we let this project in the future, when we do this project, it's going to cost. I just don't see how it can. It's not that far away.
What was the justification for it being so high?
Right.
No.
So, well, it's going to be kind of tricky to get from the Cottonwood lift station through the backwoods out to Womble Road, and then from Womble Road, there'll be fairly easy sailing up to 64 where we can hit the new fallout line. And I think that was where some of the unknowns were, what you're going to run into. You're digging through a swamp. It is a swamp, I mean, there's no doubt about it. And there's going to be dewatering costs. There's going to be maybe environmental remediation there, wetland permits. The engineering is going to be more on it than it would be for a normal project. But
This is almost as much as the sewer outfall line, that big
Yeah.
project.
Have we inquired with another engineering company to give us a
we have
price?
not. It was just, I just wanted to have a look, see what it would cost so we could talk about it.
We've used Stocks Engineering for, I think, every project we've had in Nashville
Since you've been on the
that I
council.
can recall.
Yeah.
And it probably wouldn't hurt us to look at another engineering firm. I mean, not to push them out totally, but
Well, to get us
let it
a
be,
quote.
let it get another quote, let it be bidded in.
Yes.
And if you tell them you're gonna bid it in, quite sure that cost may come down some.
Yeah. You know, if we could gravity flow the DOC lift station, I could see that where that might be 1.7, just because of the distance.
Right.
But these two lift stations, I mean, they can be served by one gravity line, not separate. You go from Cottonwood over to Cypress and then Cypress 264 and you hit the gravity line. I was surprised when I saw how expensive they projected it.
But if we run into rock like we did the last time,
Always a
that'll
problem.
throw it back up.
That's why you have engineers to
That, where
know about the rock.
they should have known about that to
Exactly.
start with when we had before, but they didn't.
This, we would probably do some exploratory digging, drilling, You know what's
That
out
would be
there.
wise.
And last but not least, asset and inventory assessment for your water and sewer. This is a project would be really beneficial to get done.
And didn't we apply for a grant for
We
this
did.
and did not get it?
We did not receive.
We're gonna try again.
Just let us know what we have and what condition it's in.
That would be great.
And it, you know, I'm not gonna go over every one of these items, but in our capital replacement plan, you know, it used to be a short list like this. You know, I'd like to, all of these running requests or all of these needs that we come upon, you know, I'm gonna try to make sure that they get added to the list so that we can understand what we've got coming down the pipeline and what we really need to be planning for. Things like roofing replacement, parking lot pave, these are really routine things that can be planned for, you know, and money can be set aside for. And so I believe that things like that should be added to the list. And so that's why you see such, you know, one page, 3 pages now.
Just so these things don't sneak up on you.
Any questions?
Would you like to take a break, about a 5-10 minute break? Okay, we'll take a quick break.
Yes, thank you.
Microphones are on.
Mark, see you along.
Thanks.
Can't touch nobody else.
We've never come to that, have we?
I don't think we have. I just threw that out there.
We've had some tense moments, but
Larry, did you find the flavor to your liking?
Yeah, I use what you had back there this morning.
Okay, I've got to call and order a plant. I've got a party tonight. It's plant exchange. I've
Oh,
got to
so-
get a plant. Why can't we raise the roof of the shed? But you said it wouldn't fit in. I don't even know anything about the shed.
It's a simple thing to.
But it's full. I think
Well, it's not as full as it used to be because
we got,
80% of that junk is not there anymore.
Okay.
Actually get things under.
so that cleared up a spot.
Yes. Clean, cleared up an area. No good? Get a different one.
Huh?
Your coffee is no good?
I'm good.
I wish I had another good cup.
That was the bo- that was-
Still have a mine.
That was the bottom, so.
Well, Brenda, the Keurig's in the back room. Help yourself.
Thanks. I like cream in my, I like coffee.
I do too. I didn't have any cream, so
I think there's little cups of cream back there.
I must have overlooked those. I didn't see them. But I'm good. I just need something in the morning to get me kicked off.
between the IT and the software and the, I mean, it's.
That's what's really throwing us out of the water.
It's significant.
And
It's a
you're
lot.
right.
It's a lot.
It's kind of like you're forced to do it. You don't have any choice.
You don't have a choice.
You truly are.
I mean,
And this,
help, the insurance, we got no control over stuff like that.
that's what
And like I
I'm saying.
said, and these IT things, I mean, the information has been given to us. We're walking on a thin rope right now. We could be hacked real easy.
The hacking part is what, yeah.
What scares me,
No doubt.
It's almost like extortion.
Yeah. that's right. But I hope it doesn't rain like this all the way through the weekend, because it says it's going to be raining, it's raining every day.
I think down through Friday.
But if it rains like this all the way through Friday,
Oh, yeah, they're talking about some areas of the state, 7 inches.
Well, they got that seating done yesterday.
I don't think the eastern part of the state, but central and western.
Yeah.
like 7.
that's a lot of waterfall. A little garden should come up pretty good.
Maybe you think the governor will extend his moratorium on disconnects for utilities?
Oh, we responded to you that. I don't think it will. I don't think it will. I mean, that's just me thinking. I don't think it will. I think
Already moving on to phase 2.
I think come Friday, we're gonna move on to phase 2.
The more you do, the more people are going to get in trouble with it, so to speak.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
the longer you stretch it out, the more liability you got to cover.
I was happy we didn't have too many, but I was still kind of surprised.
How many we had so far?
About
70.
70. Maybe it was less than that. You
So the last item on my list is just, I'm here to answer any questions that you have.
Sam, do you think we've given you a clear path to proceed to get this? Do you-
So the main question I had was with the debt financing. So probably what I'll do during lunch is I'll plug my new numbers in, and let you know.
Okay,
But what it's looking at is, obviously, we're not gonna have any debt payments. Well, we will. We'll
Yeah, we
have
will.
lesser debt payment, lesser debt proceeds. Our fund balance is gonna be, projection is gonna be about the same. We're gonna use a little bit more of our capital. But I'll have that all those numbers.
You said there was a possibility of getting 2% interest.
I'm going to keep it in the budget at 3.25. Like I say, I just don't know what rates could do between now and then.
You said you received between 2 and 3, right?
3.2, 2 and 3.2.
and we plug 3.2, so if we come out anything less than that, we're to the good.
We were able to get 1.8 for the sewer vac truck. That, so we should.
I'll
That's,
keep looking.
yeah.
I reached out to four banks.
Could we clarify the sales tax, Sam? Because I'm a little confused as far as what's going to be reported in this fiscal year as opposed to what's going to roll in the next fiscal year in this last quarter of 2020.
Well, so it depends on how what the auditor, I may have talked to the auditor about it, because I would like to get it right with the right fiscal year.
Right.
I don't know in years past that it's been done that way. I
Right.
think that they just took 12 and put it in there,
And that's not atypical, but yeah.
but it does make a difference in times like this.
So you definitely need to know which year it's going to be more heavily impacted, whether it's going to be the end of this fiscal year or the first part of next fiscal year.
What have you heard thus far, Sam? More this fiscal year than next, correct?
Correct. The biggest dip is
The last quarter
this
of this year.
fiscal year. But of course, our cash flows with that will be affected next fiscal year.
Right.
Everything is lag time. Second quarter is going to be bad.
Now, Timmy, when you say second quarter, which one? Are we talking fiscal year or calendar year as far as second quarter, Louise? What are you?
Calendar year.
So the one that we're
I'm
in
talking
now.
about,
Okay.
April, May, June.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be down quite a bit.
Like I said, it will continue to be down in the third quarter. And then even in the fourth quarter, but less. It'll start to tick back up. And then in the last half of next fiscal year, you're gonna start to go back up, have a little bit of a rebound.
So the revised total budget that Sam had and you gone through, it's got the yellow highlights on it. When you get to the end total on the recommended for FY '21, $12,365,880.
That's gonna change once I plug in my new numbers for
Financing.
the financing.
For the vehicle or the garbage truck.
I know the town's always done that in a cumulative effect, but I always think of general funds separate and apart from the enterprise fund. So I look at them as individual budgets, not so much as totals.
So even though our fund balance in this
So we're.
has
increasing.
decreased, the overall budget in the general fund has increased because that $250,000 that we put in as pass-through.
Yeah.
For that, the jail building.
So our actual increase from the year before, is that just 105? What's the increase in this budget compared to last year's budget?
Still about 200,000.
The original budget was six million, and now it's 7.2 million. So the total number for the general fund has increased by 1.2. You've got about $500,000 in transfers
Right.
and another 600,000 in debt service, which has added to that number. Overall, I actually did a calculation. If you eliminate all your transfers and all your, basically, if you eliminate all your transfers, your total expenditures have increased by 300 in the general fund. Your total expenditures. Your total expenditures have increased by 700,000.
700.
Sam, do you have a summary of what all that accounts? What's included in that 700? We know the BC3 is all
Yeah, I
new
mean,
expense.
yes,
That's $125,000.
salary study,
So this page is
Financial software.
financial software.
no point in referring to this anymore then. You
The
know,
numbers have been updated. And if we came back a month from now and did it again, it'd probably be updated again.
I'd like to see an updated this. I mean, so that we can see how our new budget compares to
Comparison
last
to
year's.
Or to this year current.
Because right now, it's, according to this, we're 2 million above last year's budget.
In fact, it's higher now, because I just added $250,000 to it.
For the reuse grant.
So I'd like to see a new page like that, just to, you know, it seems like it's ever changing. It's a moving target.
Well, every decision we make,
Yeah,
it does
exactly.
change.
If, Sam, if someone, just a normal person that doesn't have an accounting degree, would come up to me and say, how much was your total budget increase from last year? Because that's what someone asked me today when they called me. What would I tell them?
Well, if you're looking at just your net expenditures,
Total, what would be the increase?
so your original budget was 6.6 million
Right.
in the general fund. Your new budget is 7.3 million, 7.2, 7.3 million. So it has increased. But you've got transfers that you can back out of that, and you've got debt service that you can back out of that. So if you back those items out, your net expenditures last fiscal year were 5.7 million, 5.8 million almost. And now they are 6.7. That's original to proposed.
What about amended?
Your amended budget was 6 million.
Mhm.
Net expenditures, your proposed budget is 6.7 net expenditures.
And that 6.7 does include the cost of the garbage truck
Correct.
and the BC3 and the market study.
Financial software.
Comprehensive plan. So what might be helpful is if we could just have in a bullet list, those major, we don't have to have every dollar, but the major items that took us from the 6 million to the 6.7 million.
5.8 to 6.7.
So what percentage increase? About 10%.
Last year, it's not, according to this, the increase is 19%. But then it's changed, so
So it's
Hey,
about
can't look at that.
10%.
Huh?
Clarification on the grant the police chief put in. He said it was for one community officer, one additional.
I actually made a spreadsheet for you. I think I left it at the office. After lunch, I'll bring it for you. But it actually lists by department, every major increase between the original and the amended. And then every major increase between the amended and the proposed. So after lunch, I will run back to the office. and grab that.
Perfect.
Apologize.
That would help.
We're coming back after lunch.
Do you want to break it?
What you said? Oh, what you said?
So are we coming back after lunch?
Do we want to just take like a,
Pardon?
do you want to take a little bit longer of a recess to allow her to go back and we can finish up early today?
That's fine with me. What is your wish, council? Someone make a motion. I'll agree with you. Do you want to just take maybe 30 minutes now, let her go get information so that we can, it's
Go
no
ahead
need
and-
just to
yeah.
hang around here to after lunch.
Because it looks like we get pretty close to
I
where we
think
need
so
to
too.
be.
Is that
So
okay with you, Sam?
It's
Yeah,
just-
while we're recessing, I'm gonna plug in the new numbers for the garbage truck.
Okay.
And I'll let you know. what
That'd be
Is a
was.
half
great.
hour sufficient, or do you need more?
Tell us how much time to
30
go. We
minutes.
can just come back.
30 minutes is fine.
Okay, good.
Okay. Do it now?
Yep, that would be great.
30-minute recess.
30-minute
We take a
recess.
30-minute recess.
Do I have to have a motion for that?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
All right.
30-minute recess.
Okay.
See, according to this, we're 2 million above last year's budget.
Right.
It looks like it's gonna be more than that.
Based on what she just said, it looks like it might be. Let's see.
And just looking at this, it's a 19% increase.
Yeah, did you hear the recycle truck come through this morning at 3:30? Did it wake you up?
I was-
3:30?
3:30.
Well, last week, the last time it came at 30,
Did it really?
because I was up.
Then they used to come after midnight, late in the evening.
I woke up this morning, I said, what in the world is that racket?
yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Went to a window and looked out, it was a recycle truck. And you could hear it after it turned the corner, went all around to everybody else. You could hear that thing just as loud.
Mics are still on, people.
Oh, okay.
And Sam, if you're doing that for me, I don't know, I guess y'all understand that.
So,
I would like to just see, like, what is the basic increase? Where are we gonna get that from, from all, because I am not an accountant.
Well, it's gonna be hard for me to answer that question. I mean, I can tell you what has changed between the original to the amended. I can tell you what has changed between the amended and the proposed. I mean, I've got a list of that. those items.
But can you do like last year, this was it, the total. This year is the total
Last year, the
increase,
total was 6
and this
million.
is the percent.
So that, the only problem with that is that our